Guy Dawson is the managing member of Classy Communications, a full-service media and marketing company. A seasoned businessman who started his first business at age 12, Guy started Classy Communications to help businesses and organizations improve their bottom lines by leveraging the power of mass media. His firm has worked with a diverse list of clients in real estate, publishing, construction, politics, radio and television broadcasting, network marketing, health and wellness, independent films, digital marketing, and a host of nonprofit organizations. Now, let's make some PR connections with your host, Guy Dawson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to PR Connections, the business edition, your solution for business success. My name is Guy Dawson, and I'm the managing member of Classy Communications, a media and marketing company. We strive to create massive growth in your business bottom line through mass media marketing. Classy Communications can bring greater recognition to your business or organization with public relations, marketing, publishing, broadcast opportunities, event planning, and more. For a free consultation, please call 702-845-6129 or visit classycommunications.net. PR Connections is a forum for business owners, entrepreneurs, sales professionals, and investors to showcase what they do. We share cutting-edge business concepts in public relations, marketing, political activism, investing, and personal development. Our business education series features successful local, national, and international entrepreneurs. Tune in and learn business from the best. This segment of the PR Connections radio show is brought to you by Life Shots. Life Shots for your health, a drink that guarantees health and wellness for you and your whole family. For without your health, what good is wealth? Call 702-493-7291 for a free 4-day supply. We are celebrating Super Tuesday down here at KDWN News Talk 720 AM, and I have Julie Burke with the National Federation of Independent Businesses back in the studio. Welcome back, Julie. How have you been?
Hey, thanks, Guy. Been doing great.
I know you were on the maiden broadcast that we did over here at KDON 720, and I wanted to have you back, as I had shared with all of you when we did that broadcast a few weeks ago, we are partnering with the National Federation of Independent Business. It is the largest organization that lobbies for the rights of small business owners in America, and we are so proud to be partnering and working with the NFIB to get the issues that relate to small business owners heard. I mean, small business owners are prominent in the foundation of this country, and supporting one another by being members of this organization. By the way, I am a member of the National Federation of Independent Business. I'm proud for the last couple of years to have been a member, and we need people who will stand up for us and make it easier for us to do what we do best, and that is service our clients. And so, Julie, again, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks so much, Guy. We've been busy in the courts and in Congress and preparing for the upcoming elections, but most of all, we've been fighting for the small business owners in the state capitol and in Washington, D.C. We just recently lost one of our Supreme Court justices, Justice Scalia, and we actually have a legal department where we have several cases that are pending in the courts right now, and so that just points to the fact that this upcoming election is very important, that we have people who understand the values of small business and the impact that we have on our economy, and particularly to grow the economy. So we're hoping that we can get the right decision made on the replacement for Justice Scalia.
Will you share about the background of the NFIB?
Well, NFIB has been around since 1943, so 70-plus years we've been fighting for small business. And as you said, we are the largest small business organization in America. But the thing is that we're the only organization that fights exclusively on behalf of independent business. So we're not torn between big business and small business. We represent the independent business owners. And the important thing is that our members have a voice in what we do and what positions we take on the issues. We're strictly member-driven. And so we have public policy headquarters in Washington, D.C., and we've got state director in Carson City. who is constantly fighting for these issues, whether it be regulatory issues, whether it be legal issues, or tax laws. We're making sure that we can get the viewpoint of our members across to those people who, for the most part, have never owned a business or met a payroll. So we need to make sure that they understand the impact that it has on small businesses.
I have so many friends who are in business, Julie, and I hear so many complaints about the regulations and how expensive it is becoming. And I experience it myself. It just seems like the fees that they keep piling on to us who have chosen the path of being in business. Sometimes it seems insurmountable for people. Mm-hmm. The NFIB is the voice for that type of person. How do you attract people? How do you get people to see what the NFIB has to offer?
Well, the important thing is that we need to recognize that individually, small business owners don't have that much influence. But collectively, together, as we work together and unify through NFIB membership, then we can have a much louder voice and have more of an impact and have an awful lot more clout. I've learned that there are 5 basic needs that a small business owner needs, and that is information, the opportunity to vent, clout, money, and time.
Yes.
And time. And our members have found that we're able to provide all of that for them, because many of these regulations a small business owner doesn't know about until they've been visited by one of the government agencies and say, oh, by the way, you need to be doing such and such and so, and here's your fine for the penalty of not knowing. So we let our members know before it ever gets rolled out. We have a bill in the House right now that will prevent Congress from passing those midnight regulations. When I say midnight regulations, those are the regulations that they passed about 3,000 of them at the end of the year last year, after the election and before the next year. They put out over 3,000 regulations, and we've discovered that over 300 of those are going to directly impact small business. And during that midnight session, people didn't have an opportunity to stand up and testify and evaluate what was going on. So we're working on rolling those back. We're working with our representative in the House, Crescent Hardy, who is the chairman of the committee that oversees those regulations and which ones will be rolled out and which ones will be rolled into the trash.
And one of the things that really impressed me when I first joined the NFIB is that there actually was a group of people out there who understood how the small business owner, like how I felt. I would go to the website and I'd do research and read and the types of issues that would come up. By the way, the website is outstanding. If you go to NFIB.com, you will just be blown away with the amount of information that relates to independent business that you find there. But it was just great to see that there was a group that was lobbying and educating people about the rights that we have as independent business owners, and that we should be working with legislators who support what we're doing, because being independent and in business, anyone who's ever done it, signed the back of a paycheck or provided a product, provided a service, knows what a challenge it really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as Joe Heck says, that these people know how to sign the front of the check, not just the back of the check. And we need to have more of those people elected in office at both the state and the federal levels. We currently have 33 NFIB members who are serving our country in Congress right now. And those are people, like you said, they understand what it's like to run a business. And we appreciate those people sacrificing their time to protect small business and the future of it, because we're seriously challenged. The future of small business is in grave danger right now.
And you are out in the field as much as anyone, Julie, and meeting business owners. I mean, you are definitely doing it at a grassroots level, walking into businesses and will you share some of the frustrations that people talk to you about when they're out there?
Oh, absolutely. I had a gentleman today was talking to me about he just has an air conditioning company, and he was talking about all the additional costs of I believe he called them tree huggers. Are requiring him to spend so much more money on the different equipment that he uses, the parts, and an air conditioning compressor is so much more expensive now. And guess what? They're going to pass that on to us. But in the meantime, it cuts into his business and all of the paperwork that he has to go through to be in compliance. And, the MSDS sheets, the list goes on and on and on of everything that they have to be doing in order to stay compliant. It takes a full-time person to simply, it takes a full-time person in a business just to do the paperwork. And that's ridiculous. So, if somebody wants to fix air conditioners, fix cars, let them go out there and fix cars, fix air conditioners.
Julie Burke is with the National Federation of Independent Business. She's been sharing how her organization helps all of us independent business owners out here. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we return, a man who is running for Assembly, Tom Blanchard, is in the studio, and he's going to talk about politics as it relates to business, as well as a lot of other topics. Stay tuned for more of PR Connections, the Business Edition. You are listening to PR Connections, the Business Edition at KDWN 720 AM. Oh, by the way, the phone lines are open at 702-257-5396 if you'd like to call in and speak with Julie Burke with the National Federation of Independent Business, as well as Tom Blanchard. He is running for State Assembly in District 35. The Business Connections of Nevada Networking Group builds relationships with business owners with the purpose of networking, sharing, inspiration, motivation, and referral leads among its members. To learn more about its weekly connection meetings, visit businessconnectionsnv.com or call 702-839-8586. That's where we met, Julie.
It is. That's right. A couple years back.
Yeah, Becky Stonebarger is doing some great things over there, supporting small business, and I'm looking forward to having her come on the show soon.
Oh, and she's got her own place now where she can have her own meetings, and people can rent out the space for the Beacon Center, I believe.
The Beacon Center is a fabulous facility. It really is perfect for all types of occasions, not just networking groups.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, we're excited. We will be having Becky Stonebarger come on soon. She is a connector in the community and someone who I staunchly support as she supports people in pursuing the dream of business ownership.
Mm-hmm. The free enterprise system.
Yeah, Tom Blanchard is in the studio. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be here.
And you are in the political realm and running for State Assembly in District 35.
That's correct.
What led you to do that?
Actually, it was when the homes or economy took a little bit of a dump, and there were some policies and the legislature passed that caused some direct impact on my business. And so I had to get involved. You can complain for only so long, but then you have to get involved.
And sometimes it takes that a little bit of pain that you feel personally before it becomes more real to you.
Yeah. Every day you just go to work, you do your thing, you run your business and deal with everything that has to do with that. And then all of a sudden legislation comes down the pike, and all the way you were doing business all of a sudden changes because some people decided it was a better way, which isn't always the best way.
Right. This just seems like there's these misconceptions out there that we as independent business owners are just rolling in dough and like this is a bowl of cherries. Being a sales professional or being in business, and you and I know better.
Yeah, far from it. I mean, I wake up every morning not having a paycheck. I've got to make my paycheck, and I have to make enough money to be able to pay the people that work for me. So it's a different animal. And
you are a realtor, and you've been very prominent in the leadership of of realty in Nevada?
Yeah, I'm on the board of directors for the Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors. This is my 3rd year, and also for the State Association of Realtors, and proud to do it. It's just, there comes a time in everybody's life where they finally decide that they've done what they can do, and now it's time to give to everybody else and bring in the new people.
And you've made a run at Assembly 4 years ago. Tell me about that experience.
It was a very big learning experience. You don't know what you don't know until you run for office. It's a different thing, and the mistakes I made last time will not be the mistakes I make this time. I'm sure of it.
So what types of things are you doing differently? Because I would imagine having gone through that, you've had a few years now to kind of contemplate on the whole political experience. What will you do differently this run?
Last time I spent a lot of time with and this is no big hit on the different clubs. I love you guys all. But you spend so much time in the comfort zone of a Republican men's club or a women's club or something where everybody, knows your name and you feel comfortable, instead of actually getting to the doors of those constituents that are actually going to be voting. So that's the biggest thing. I just didn't knock on enough doors, plain and simple.
And you are business friendly, which we certainly appreciate on the PR Connections radio show. We like politicians who are big on business.
Well, thank you. And it's a big issue. I mean, we had our license fees up for being increased, and luckily we were able to beat it down due to the fact that, well, I'll back up. You got to consider every single real estate company, actually every single real estate agent that works out there is really their own small business. And it's up to them to join together, which we have, that's what makes us a realtor association. And we go out and we talk to the agents. What are their needs? What are their issues? And from those, we then go to Carson City as one voice and make sure that our efforts are known, just like NFIB is doing, of making sure that all the independent businesses' needs are known, and hopefully be able to persuade our representatives to go one way or another.
It's so much power in being a lobbying group, and here we are in this political campaign. You've got a lot of people to meet. How do you get someone who may not completely agree with you on a lot of your stances on things to see enough of a value in what you have to say to possibly want to vote for you?
Well, that's the trick.
Right. That is the trick, isn't it?
I think all of us are trying to figure that one out. Some of us are figured a little bit more than others, but basically just talking. We've forgotten how to talk to each other. All of a sudden, you're either a Republican or you're a Democrat, and that's it. We can't get along. We can't talk to each other. Forget about what you think. And we just stopped talking. And that's the key. We might disagree on several items, but you know what? I guarantee you there's a lot more that we agree on than what we disagree on.
And I think if I can throw a comment in there, is listening to one another. When I'm out, boots on the ground, going to the business owners, I ask them a series of questions to find out where their big concerns are. And I think in addition to having that conversation, it is so much about listening. Where is their pain, and what can we do to fix it? It's not hurting anybody if they don't have their free phone, but it is hurting somebody if they have to lay off 3 of their employees just to pay the utilities. That's hurting a lot more people. And as business owners, whether independent and you've got a staff in your office, together we can form the majority, and if we can just talk.
Yeah, talking is the key.
Yeah.
And we've stopped talking in this country, not only here in Nevada, but throughout the whole United States. And I think some of the results today are showing that.
Yes, it is Super Tuesday. So, hey, let's jump into that a little bit, huh? We haven't talked any about how things have gone today. All right, let's start with you, Julie. What do you think?
Well, I haven't been able to watch much of the news as of yet. They just started giving the totals, but from what I'm seeing, it's a lot of it is scary because we are so divided. And I'm really concerned about when are we going to get to the real solutions and deal with the real solutions that this country is facing. This is showboat, and we'll get past it once we get through the primaries, maybe. We're in the process of vetting the candidates for Congress and the state legislature to see who we're going to be endorsing. But I can tell you what, we're not going to be picking the loudest or the furthest left or the furthest right, or we're going to pick it on issues that they're truly concerned about business, small business, and protecting our freedoms.
Yes, those people who are looking out for us. We're going to take a short commercial break and return with more of PR Connections, the Business Edition, with Julie Burke with the National Federation of Independent Business, and Tom Blanchard. He is a candidate for State Assembly in District 35. See you soon. We are talking business on PR Connections at News Talk KDWN 720 AM and KDWN.com. And the phone lines are open at 702-257-5396. Are you feeling distressed because of a legal situation? Massey and Associates, attorney at law firm, is here to help you. Call them for representation in bankruptcy, probate matters, wills and trusts, debt negotiation, minor traffic tickets, business contracts, and more. Massey and Associates listen to what you have to say and fight to bring you justice. Call 702-722-9906 or visit MasseyLawVegas.com. I have been speaking with Julie Burke. She is a sales representative with the National Federation of Independent Business. It is the largest lobbying organization for businesses in America. And I've also been speaking with Tom Blanchard. He is running for office. He is running for State Assembly in District 35. Right before we went to the break, I was delving into politics a little bit, and Julie had her opinions on how things are going. How about you, Tom? What are your thoughts on Super Tuesday?
Oh, I have no comment.
Yes, we have a politician in the studio.
No, it's obviously we're divided, and it's becoming very apparent. And until one of the draws is that someone's finally saying, or at least speaking, what everybody's been thinking, or a large majority that has been silent for a while, apparently, and it's resonating, and it's causing a lot of people to sort of wake up and smell the roses. It's good because it's starting some dialect. I mean, before this, we weren't really paying much attention. We're too busy doing our own lives, running our own businesses, doing, going to work, whatever it is that we do on a daily basis, to really be able to pay attention to some of the other things that are going on. It's no different than what caused me to get into politics was some legislation that came down the pike that I had no clue about. And just all of a sudden, one day, my business turns 180 degrees, and I'm like going, wait, time out. What's going on here? And it's so important to have somebody, whether it's the NFIB in this case, be able to give a warning. This is coming down the pikes. What's your worry? What do you see? How does it affect you? Without that, as a business owner, we just, we go to our store or our shop or our office, do our business, and go home and spend the time with our families, because that's why we went to work. We go to work and earn money to be able to spend the time off with our families and loved ones and doing the things that we all love to do. No one wants to sit there, unless you're a political junkie, and read every single piece of legislation, let alone understand what the heck it says. Have you read some of those bills?
I've tried.
They put you to sleep. That's one of the reasons why.
And they
right
send you
there.
off on all these rabbit trails because you have to look up all these other bills that they refer to, and it doesn't make any sense at all. But you know what? That's exactly what you just said is exactly what, unfortunately, most of Congress is counting on. That we won't be paying attention to what they're doing, and we won't read the bills because we sure know they're not. But we've got to hold them accountable and remind them all that they work for us. We give them a paycheck, a little bit out of your pocket, a little bit out of Guy's pocket, a little out of my pocket.
But they've taken enough.
But they take plenty. They take
They've
plenty.
taken more
That's
than
right.
enough. And that's really what the format of this show is all about, for me and establishing an actual business edition of this show is that these are things that don't get talked about a lot. And like you said, everyone's so involved in their businesses and don't have a lot of time to really get out. It takes a lot to run a business. I know how many hours a day I put in. I know the two of you in your professions work very, very hard. And the reason why I want this show to exist in this format is for those entrepreneurs out there and sales professionals to know that there are people out there working for you, that you have a voice. And that's what immediately attracted me to NFIB.
Yeah, and it's not so much that it's your single voice. It's the collective voices that make the difference. One voice yelling and screaming, saying this isn't right, all of a sudden becomes just another person yelling and screaming. But several, 100, 1,000 people saying this isn't right, and all of a sudden we have a movement.
Yeah, and you have this organization that has been around since the 40s that has over, 300,000 members?
Well over 300,000 members, yeah.
All over America, so there's strength in numbers.
There is strength in numbers, yeah.
And so what's coming down the pike? What should we be looking out for in this election season in terms of things in Nevada that could be questionable for business owners?
Well, for here in Nevada, they just passed the commerce tax. The general public voted it down by 80% of the vote. It was the margin tax. Question 3 on the ballot, the education initiative, whatever you want to call it. It was a tax on gross receipts. We voted that down, and then the legislature decided in their wisdom that they were going to get this passed one way or another. Well, NFIB was the only organization that was actually fighting against it. But there are some small cell groups, should I say, that are working to reverse this commerce tax because of the way they went about it. And we have on our ballots this year that are going out to our members, asking them if they want us to fight this battle to reverse it. Because even though we were successful in getting a $4 million carve-out on the revenue, which protected small businesses, who knows if next legislative session they might eliminate that or reduce it or whatever. Once they get their foot in the tax door, they don't let loose. So we want to make sure that we do that. Also, we've got some overtime laws that are in place here in Nevada that a lot of people are not aware of. We're one of few states in Nevada, one of few states in the country that requires time and a half to be paid over an 8-hour day rather than a 40-hour work week. Well, with a small business owner who's working on a deadline, hey, Joe, can you stay over 1 hour, finish this job up? We got to have it installed tomorrow. You can go home early on Friday, take a half a day off Friday. Okay, Joe's happy with that. I'm happy with that. But the labor department's not, because Joe would have to be paid time and a half, and that's too costly. And it eliminates, we lose a lot of the flexibility that small business owners need. So those are two things in addition to workers' comp, trying to get some bugs worked out on that. On the federal level, as I mentioned in the first segment, we're really concerned about some of these lawsuits that we have sitting waiting for some decisions to be made in the Supreme Court. But we do have, we were talking about information. We've got a webinar for our members, and if you are interested, anybody can obviously become a member. We've got a webinar on the upcoming mandates on Obamacare. We have a very simplified handbook on everything that you need to know about Obamacare and the different mandates that are coming up. And it's written in layman's terms. We can understand it. And then we also have some webinars coming up on the new tax codes, tax laws. We've gotten some extensions on small business exemptions. We want everybody to be able to take full advantage of those tax exemptions that are available for them.
The National Federation of Independent Business is working to make things better for sales professionals and business owners. And we're going to take a short commercial break and return. And I want to hear more about Tom Blanchard's run for state assembly. And we'll also talk with Julie more about things that are coming down the pike that are going to affect business owners and sales professionals in the upcoming election. See you soon. PR Connections, the business edition, is coming to you live from News Talk, KDWN 720 AM and KDWN.com. The phone lines are still open at 702-257-5396 if you have any questions for Julie Burke with the National Federation of Independent Business, and Tom Blanchard. He is a candidate for State Assembly in District 35. I just wanted to make a quick announcement about this course that I am going to be teaching over at the College of Southern Nevada. It is about how to leverage the power of free media to make your small business more successful. And I'm going to be sharing some techniques I think that any business owner or sales professional can use to leverage the power of mass media to bring greater recognition to what they do. I'll be talking about social media, broadcast opportunities, business networking, so many things that you can utilize to keep the costs down in your business and yet get good returns on your investment. And so I'm really excited about teaching this course, and I would invite you all to go to csn.edu and you can learn more about how to register for the class. It's only $54, and again, I think it'll be well worth your time and your money to sit in on this class. I give you some strong fundamentals on how to be more successful in leveraging the power of media to bring attention to your business. Tom, you are at the very beginning of this journey towards possibly becoming a state assemblyman. What is a typical day for you like now as a candidate?
Well, filing starts, I think, on Monday, the 8th. But the prep work, which I didn't have last time, the website, getting all the social media ready, getting the handouts, the flyers, the signs that'll be going out. And I'm sorry, I'll apologize right now for all the signs that'll be coming out, but it's the only, you know what, if people would answer their door or answer their phone, we may not need to have all those road signs. Just saying. It's just a thought, folks. You know, if you're sick and tired of all those signs on the road, answer your door when you see us knocking. Trust me, you'll know. We'll be in T-shirts. There'll be a group of us, you know, maybe just me, but answer the door, answer the phone, and, you know, allow us to have that dialect, because that's the biggest thing, is trying to break through that door of people wanting their, you know, privacy. Everybody wants to be, you know, they want to live their lives, and they don't necessarily need somebody interfering with their daily activities. And I understand that, and I appreciate that, and I understand for those folks that when I knock on the door, I can hear you inside, and you still don't answer the door, and that's okay. I understand. But it's the only way I can get out there to meet and talk and hear what our constituents need. I don't have all the answers, and I don't know what's going through everybody else's lives, and that two-way communication is the only way those that represent us up in Carson City are going to have a damn clue. And that's probably a big reason that a lot of the legislation that gets passed is because we don't let them know that, no, we really don't want it. And even when we do say, no, we really don't want it, sometimes they just decide, oh, yeah, you do, because we know better. And that's a shame.
Mm-hmm. It's the same apathy, basically, that Julie was talking about when it comes to people who are in business, where if you don't understand what you're up against, how can you make any type of change? I think it's important that people know what their candidates are all about, rather than just getting in that ballot box and just pushing basically a button of someone whose sign you saw, because we have more signs in Las Vegas than any city I've ever seen.
That's because the BLM. That's because the BLM owns all that land.
But people don't even know anything at all about the candidates, and so don't get upset with what you get when you don't take the time to find out what the people who want to represent you are all about.
Yeah, it's very important. It's the biggest thing that as a candidate I have to work on is making that connection with those folks at home that I'm going to be representing. And I want to know. I want to talk to them. We need to talk. It's the key for me knowing how to gauge what is really going on there, because sometimes there'll be something that will come up or a question that will come up, and I know how it'll affect me, but it's not about me. It's about everybody that I represent. And without knowing and having, I don't know how this bill may pertain to a bunch of independent businesses, but with Julie there, she's able to tell me. So it's how important these voices are, is to let us know, because otherwise we're going on our own, sometimes not so great sense of direction.
And we have no room to complain if we're not going to either step up to the plate and take a role in serving our government in some way, or at least communicate to these people who are passing these bills, and let them know how you feel about it. But if you don't vote, and you don't serve any time, and you don't ask any questions or tell us how you feel, then you don't have any right to complain.
You're going to get what you give.
Yeah.
You get what you give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not caring doesn't make it any different. Like you said, what happens is you get the scraps. You get what you put in, you get back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the computer: crap in, crap out. I can say that, right? Okay, I did.
I remember when I moved to Las Vegas about 20 years ago, hearing about what a business-friendly city this is, and what a transformation there has been over that 20 years in my mind. I mean, with the amount of legislation that's come, and we just have had some real challenges in this city. It's not nearly as business-friendly as it used to be, or the entire state of Nevada, for that matter.
Well, I'd be glad to give you my theory on that, because that's about the time I started working for NFIB back in 1997, and the boom was just getting started. But we didn't require state business licenses. It was city, county, whatever. I don't believe that the state business license was required, and then that was required for $200, and then now it's $500 plus if you have corporate agents. It can get up into $600 or $700 just for a license, and the state does nothing for you. Okay, but back then everything was all put upon the casinos. Let the tourists and the casinos pay all of our taxes, and that is why it was such a small business friendly. We didn't have state income tax. We didn't have all the fees. We didn't have we had the union workers and the casinos and stuff. But when this recession came along, we were so lopsided in our income structure as a state that it was killing us. And so then they just started increasing all the fees, and that, I believe, is the biggest argument. And I wasn't the one lobbying on this in Carson City. Randy Thompson is much better at this than I. But that was a lot of the thing, is that we need to be more diversified. And so rather than lowering anything else, they just raised more on more people.
So become a member of the National Federation of Independent Business so that we can deal with all this legislation. Thank you so much for coming back, Julie. And thank you, Tom Blanchard. And I wish you all the success in the world as you attempt to become a state assemblyman.
Thank you very much.
And thank all of you for listening to this week's edition of PR Connections. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Take care of yourselves.